Hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. Gonna get Coach Kayla on here.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
You are looking
Hello.
like a ball of youth and
Thank
energy.
you. I feel like it for the most part, or at least we're trying to channel that energy today.
Heck yeah.
How are
This is
you
the
doing?
this is the energy. It's too bad it's backwards. It says hold up. I'm kind of a big deal. I'm essential. So
As you
if you
are?
didn't know, now you know.
No, you
Coaches, life coaches are essential.
don't.
Okay.
Hell yes, they are. Cheers to that. Whew.
Welcome you all as you come into the space today.
Welcome. Happy Saturday. I'm so pumped. It was just the full moon last night, channeling all this good energy, just having it flow
Yes.
in. It feels so good. I feel so like alive, which is so nice. So,
Yes. And of course, we're gonna start with some happy birthdays, you know. Happy
what?
birthday to Coach Taylor, y'all. So
Thank
we want to
you.
celebrate her real quick.
Oh.
Should should I clip? Let me see if I can get a note real quick. Let's do a one line of a happy birthday. All right. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Wow.
birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right.
Tia,
That's
you
my
never told me
version.
you could sing. What? What in the world? I just want to let you know when it's your birthday, it's not going to come out that cute. It is not going to come out that cute, but I will try. Wow. Thank
It
you.
is quite all right. This has been many years on break from singing, but growing up singing a whole lot.
Oh, how
From
beautiful.
community choirs, church choirs to school choirs, to even in groups
Wow.
started with me and my cousin. So and my
Oh my gosh, I
sisters,
didn't know that.
we were like a whole group. We were forced into being a group. Most of this wasn't by choice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
so
Wow.
I have sung in my lifetime. Yes.
Wow. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I
Mm-mm.
was like, damn, did Tia just like pull that out of her pocket? Like, as if she's never done that before. I was like, what? Thank you. Wow, what a
You are so welcome,
blessing.
my dear.
Oh, that was really nice. Thank you. Well,
Mm,
I am so excited to jump in today's conversation.
right.
Um, Today it's another one. Forgiveness is the topic. It's the topic for us. And T and I have been talking over and over again about how powerful just like having these conversations and learning through this ourselves has been, let alone being able to share this information. Like I feel like are so blessed. So I can't wait to continue it because we got some hot
Right.
stuff coming in today, per
Right.
usual.
Right.
Well, are you ready to get started, Tia?
I
Third part on forgiveness today, number three. So if you haven't already, go check out our other IG lives. This is our 11th IG live. Did I just say 11? Are you kidding
11.
me?
We
What?
regular pros.
We are. We've been doing this damn thing. So this is our 11th IG live. So we have 10 other like 1 hour long conversations on so many topics and two other ones specifically on forgiveness. And like they are so essential and so powerful. So please go check them out.
Right.
Last month we dived into the effects of forgiveness and like how it impacts our bodies.
Right.
And then kind of walking through that process again on our one before that, we talked about what even is forgiveness, the
Right.
different types. And also, I feel like along this whole journey, we've really dived into like why it's so freaking hard to forgive in the first place.
Right.
So if you know anyone who would benefit from this conversation, from these discussions, I highly encourage you to tag them below. If you're watching this later, please share this, put it on your story, comment, tag people below. This information needs to get out. Tia and I don't want to keep it a secret. We want it to be out and loud, so help us do that. So hello, I am Kayla Winters. I am the proud owner of the Lunar Radiance Wellness Center, where I am a moon phase life coach and yoga instructor, and I'm here with my amazing vocalist co-host.
Hi, beautiful people. I am Tia Trust, the proud owner of Phoenix Nest Coaching. Yes. If you've been with us before, we want to say welcome back. If this is your first time with us, we want to say welcome. And as always, we want to encourage you, as Kayla said, we have a plethora now of previous lives. And so there's so much information. There's loads of tips that we include in these lives. And in all honesty, these things have been key to our own breakthroughs.
Yeah.
To our own breakthroughs. So that's how epic the information is. Your breakthrough is waiting on you. Go check out that information. You can check them out. It's they're on, most of them are on my accounts. They're also on Kayla's account. I also have a YouTube channel that has all of them right there for you. So you can even follow that YouTube channel. All right. It's at Phoenix Nest Coaching. All right.
So as we mentioned, last month we talked about forgiveness again, and we always give you guys some action steps. And so the first action step that we highly recommended was to just journal, right? And we gave you guys a list of journal questions. I'm going to go through a couple of them here today. But we want to hear from you guys. And if you did journal, or if you didn't, and these are bringing up things for you, we'd love to hear from you in the chat below. But those questions were, what does that actually mean to forgive for you? What does that actually mean for you? For no one else, just for you. Now understanding the impacts, or how you were impacted in a situation requiring forgiveness, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from that situation? Those are two out of the couple of journal questions that we gave you.
And the other assignment, the other action step that you were given was to place Post-it notes around your home, around, if you are back in the office, at your office, place Post-it notes that say grace and time. So reminding yourself to give yourself grace, and that you need to also allow yourself to take the time. So that there's good time is also going to be an important factor in this. Okay. All right.
Beautiful. I'm excited for today's conversation.
I'm so excited for today's conversation. And everybody, I just really want you to let you know, kind of, me and Kayla, as we have this beautiful relationship, we intend in our conversations and our IG lives to be very authentic and genuine in the process, right? And so when we have our conversations about the upcoming topics, it's really us genuinely going through it, thinking about what are the things that come up for us. And so Kayla had the brilliant idea that we were going to walk through this today by answering the questions for you ourselves. Hey, and I want you to know it's the journey, right? It's definitely going to be a journey, and we're going to be authentic about where we are in the space, so you can actually see the reality of what this looks like on application, because we've talked about these ideas, talked about a few things about how to put it in practice, but in the day-to-day life and what it looks like in forgiveness and applying these tools, then you'll see how we have done. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to add, Kayla? Huh?
Yeah, I definitely do want to take a minute to add something too. one of the biggest things that I feel like on Tia and I's journey of healing and whatnot, I think that I feel like we've both been so blessed to kind of have this initially with ourselves, um, was just this opportunity to really have the intention to be a student. This is
Right.
something I've been really big preaching. Like I have a podcast. And so I've been walking through my sister with this process too of like the importance of recognizing that you are a student. Tia and I, even
Right.
as life coaches, even as we share this information today, we are also students. And
Right.
being able to hold that title, and I think, I was even thinking of it today, like student drivers, they have these
Right.
giant bumpers on them. And when they screw up and we see that they screwed up, we're like, they're learning,
Right.
right?
Right.
We all need to hold that same thing. Like we all have that bumper on our backs too. I am learning. I'm a student of forgiveness. I'm a student
Right.
of life. I'm a student of grace, like all these things. And like being able to hold that grace with yourself and then with other people is just so, so important. So, if anything today, I really want you guys to just set that intention of like, I'm here to be a student. I'm here to give myself that grace and time that we talked
Right.
about earlier
Right. Right.
as we go through this because like T and I said, we were like going through this earlier this week and like talking through it and like we were like ooh
Right. Right.
and we are life coaches, so it is a journey, and I think it's so important. Like I'm so excited to have this conversation today and like live walk you guys through like what we do and how we incorporate those moments of grace and time into our journey too, because I think that that's
Right.
the biggest part that we miss. And that like you can look up articles, you can watch videos, but I think the thing that they miss all the time is like what does that actually look like live running through your brain
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
That application. Right.
That application, it is like it's
Right.
so easy to say just let it go or to just feel through, but like what does that actually look like in real time? And I just like so excited to do that with you guys today and like get real and vulnerable, because it's really helpful to see someone else do it and see like, oh yeah, it is okay to mess up, it's okay to
Right.
not to have it all together,
Right.
and give yourself that permission to do that
Right.
too. So
Right.
yeah.
And one other thing, remember, like Kayla said, in summary, what that is, this is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Healing is not a destination. There's not an end period. There ain't no period at the end. It's a journey. So there's always going to be something new, something else along the journey that we're going to have to work through and learn and develop and things like that. And so as we are going through this journey of life and healing, reminding ourselves of that.
Mm-hmm.
I am not striving for perfection. I am striving to be true to me,
Mm-hmm.
honest with myself. I want to be my own mirror, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to be my own mirror. I want to be able to look in the mirror and say, did I do my best today? Is there anything else I could have done? Is it did I show my heart? Was I honest with myself? Was I trying to present myself well so that I was palatable to others? Was I
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing everyone else over myself? Because that's the journey. That's the journey when we evaluating that so that we can say, yep, I did my best. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't always great and pretty, and my best every day looks different. It shouldn't be compared to the other day. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we're applying all of these things, remember we said even in the beginning of our IG lives is that we are layering things one on top of the other. So our new learnings, we're just layering on top of the other so that then when we apply, it all turns back to being gracious with ourselves, especially with forgiveness. Because remember when those first
Absolutely.
components, like Kayla said, it's going to start with, have we forgiven ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Have we? And Tia and I, we are gonna give you guys a set of 5 questions today. And these are the questions, like we've kind of Tia's alluded to today, that we are gonna live walk ourselves through with personal situations in our life that forgiveness is required. And we didn't just pick the easy ones, just so y'all know.
Oh,
We did
no.
not pick the easy ones. We picked the loud, oh shit, oh damn, whew,
Right.
We take
Right.
the oh shit situations in our lives where like we
Right.
are looking at forgiveness and we're like, no, no, no.
Right.
Forgiveness? What?
Right.
We
Right.
pick those ones because those are the hard ones, and that's the stuff that needs to be worked through even on our journey. So I'm excited to get into this. I do want to remind you guys too to please participate. Jump
Yeah.
into this conversation. Get in the chat, send us emojis, ask questions, comment, all of those things to any
Yeah.
of the information that we shared today because it just makes it so much more fun. And we want to hear from you guys. And as we walk through these questions, if like you have a situation, whatever, drop it in. We want to hear
Yeah.
from you.
Yes.
And make sure to grab your pen and paper handy in case there's anything that you want to write down that got your attention today. And if there is, like, DM us and let us know because we want to know. We
Right.
want to know and support you on your journey too. So,
Right.
all
Right.
right, let's dive into this mastering self-forgiveness, Tia. Woo!
All right. So this first question is going to be again, did y'all hear? Hold on. First of all, did you hear what Kayla said? She said these are some questions to use and for you to help master self-forgiveness. And these can be applied in other relationships as well. So the first one is, can anything be done to change what happened? So y'all know, like we said, we talked through this a little bit earlier this week, and immediately I can tell you both of us like, we were thinking of, because when you start thinking about any scenario, right, where you need to forgive someone, it gets real complicated because again, we talk about this dodging. First of all, it's very hard to embrace that topic, but when you look at this question, can anything be done to change what happened? At first, I promise, when I was thinking about a particular scenario in a particular relationship, I was just like, I don't know the answer. But in actuality, the answer is very clear. No, there's nothing that can be done now to change what happened because what happened has already passed. So you can't change what happened, right? So we can think about how we're going to respond and engage in the future and in the present. But what can we do about what happened? We can't do anything because it has already passed. But when me and Caleb first heard that, we were just like, in this situation, hold on, it's complicated. But it's not. You can't do anything. Right? Your choices are in about how you're going to respond to the situation, how you're going to engage with the person in the future. How do you need to address it within yourself?
Yeah. And something that really stands out to me with this question that I think when I first heard it too, is I started thinking about like future stuff.
Right.
I was like, oh, well, I know what they could do.
Right.
I know what they could do to make this better, or I know what but when like Tia said, when you come down to what happened in the past, there is not a damn thing that you can do.
Right.
Not a damn thing. And being able, I feel like, to slow that down.
Right.
And slow down the brain that's like,
right.
Pull the finger back. Is there anything that can be done?
Right. Because that critter brain, just like Kayla said, it starts going on alert. Like, what's happening? What's happening? Nope, I got to protect you. And then when you pause and slow down for a second and you inhale and exhale, can anything be done? No. Nothing can be done to change what happened. Now you might like the other person, because also we're applying this. We immediately going, can something be done? Oh, they can do a whole bunch of things. Like Hale said, they can do a whole bunch of things to get this together, right? They can to rectify this situation.
Yeah, or even like with ourselves too. Oh, well, I could have done this, or I could have done that, or I could have done or I can still do these things, or I can do, but like that removes trust
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear that that bridge of trust is broken,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's with yourself or with other people. And it's very clear that there is no grace provided there at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At all. And that's okay. Again, we're here on our journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
Tia and I said, we were ready to point the finger. We were ready to, oh,
Right.
I got ideas for you.
Right. Because we came up with the toughest. We ain't come up with like no little small scenario. The toughest scenarios that we still facing in our lives. Like we've had
Mm-hmm.
some real movement in those relationships. But the toughest relationships we have, that's the ones we were thinking of and was like, ooh, we can apply grace to these individuals and stuff like that now. But in the beginning, it's like, even in the beginning with the question, it was like, trigger, critter brain coming in red alert. But
Yeah.
when we inhale and exhale, slow down and take a breath, the answer is still going to be no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's also important too to like recognize that like emotions are gonna come up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And like frustration is allowed,
Right.
anger is allowed,
Right.
sadness is allowed. Like all of these like feelings are like, Tia and I have preached from day one about forgiveness to like feel through what is coming
Mm-hmm.
up for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so even though we say the answer is no, it doesn't mean that you can't be mad at that.
Right.
And so I think really, again, giving ourselves that grace, giving ourselves that time to like process through that the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Like so that I feel like that was kind of my reaction when it first came up. Like, excuse me? You mean I just have to live with the fact that this happened to me? You're telling me that I just have to like swallow it and just take it?
Right.
No, no. But with grace, with time, with that care for myself,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I've hit a point where now I can answer that, yeah, nothing can change what happened. And yes, that did happen to me, but doesn't mean that I need to hold that as much anymore either. So
Right.
I can say
Right.
that a little bit lighter now.
Right.
a little bit, a little bit
Right.
lighter. So yeah. Do we have any questions about this first question? Can anything be done to change what happened? Do you have any questions coming up in the box, Tia?
I don't see anything. Mm.
No? Okay, that's totally fine. And feel free, like we said, throw it in there when you feel it
Yeah.
come up. I'm going to jump into our next question, if that feels good. So, our next one is, do I allow myself to make mistakes? I'm going to say that one more time. Yeah, breathing through this one. I think we're going to be breathing through all of these today.
Right.
But breathing through this one. Do I allow myself to make mistakes? When this question came up for me, oh, I immediately was like, the life coach in me says yes.
Right. Right. Right.
Duh. Of course I can make mistakes. But can Kayla make mistakes? No. Kayla has to have it all together. Kayla has to have the answers, has to be prepared, has done everything that she can to make sure that nothing went wrong. So, no, she's not allowed to make mistakes. No, that's the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure as you all can guess that crashed and burned hard, really, really hard. And like not just once, like lots of times of crashing and burning because
Mm-hmm.
it was still the expectation. Okay, whatever. Yes, that happened. Not forgiving myself, not giving myself grace. And again, continuing to hold the level even higher, even though I'm down here because I've been broken down. And then it gets higher, and then I'm down here. And then I'm sure, as you guys can tell, it just, again, grace was not present.
Mm-hmm.
Love was not present. Burnout was very present.
Mm-hmm.
Burnout said, I'm here. I'm here. Um, so that was when I answered this question for myself when it came to, and the relationship that I am working on through forgiveness is with my mom. we have like a very complicated relationship, and there is like so much love there, but there is also there's a lot of things there. A lot of working through, and need, like lots of need for forgiveness and for grace, and for the ability to make mistakes, right?
Hmm.
And so initially my response to this question was like, no, Kayla was not allowed to make mistakes. Because a lot of the time that was the expectation placed on me. And then that's what I ultimately ended up placing on myself.
Hmm.
And walking through this with like the idea of like mastering self-forgiveness and mastering like my love and care for myself. Because if I can tell myself that I allow myself to make mistakes, it doesn't even matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter what my mom
Hmm.
thinks or what I think she thinks or anything or anyone in that matter. If I'm allowing myself to answer this question with, yes, I'm allowed to make mistakes,
Hmm.
that's bringing the power back.
Right.
Bringing the power back. How about for you, Tia?
So, like Kayla said, the relationship I was thinking about when we were when we were talking about these questions was my relationship with mom. And so it is really my desire. I would just love to feel like she's proud of me and appreciates me. So, and because as a life coach and I have a lot of exposure like in the world to what healing looks like and things, I just really in the beginning just fought a lot trying to get her to hear my perspective and my experience. So then
Mm-hmm.
when you come back to the question, do I allow myself to make mistakes? In the beginning, I definitely did not. Like Kayla, I did not allow myself to make mistakes in interactions with her. I felt like I had to have it all thought through and figuring it out and giving perspective. But at the end of it, it still didn't work. Like she still didn't understand my position and was resistant and things like that. And so I didn't allow myself to make mistakes. Now, with time, love, grace, and patience, and primarily taking care of myself, choosing myself, then I can stand here and say in a position, I don't feel like I have to be perfect. I don't feel like I have to figure it all out in the conversation. I don't even have to force the conversation any longer trying to have healing and breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
My healing and my breakthrough was getting to the place where I could say, yeah, the relationship is what it is. You've done the best you could, right? You've done the
Yeah.
best you could in trying to communicate and trying to show yourself available. However, everything is always going to be received in the way in which you intended. So go in any relationship that you're trying to work on, resolve anything with the intentions, being clear about what your intentions are. And that's going to be a big part of your healing because then you're going to be like, at the end, I did the best I could.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times, like, we don't realize it, but we have the intention to make our relationships perfect.
Right.
And we have this intention that it's going to be like TV or like the movies and it's going to be perfect. And like, this is exactly how it's going to play out in my brain. And then it's like all of those like frustrations that come out when it's not. And I think you're so right, Tia, like just setting that intention, like, actually, maybe like subconsciously my intention was for this to be perfect and for it to be magical and for it to be all these things, but actually, like, I just want my intention to be that like we can both like screw up and that's okay.
Right.
And I want my intention to be that like love is going to be there.
Right.
Or I just want my intention to be like doing the best that I can with my patience,
Right.
or my intention to be honoring myself. Like, again, I could go on forever, and like you can have lots of those intentions or you can have one intention or whatever that looks like for your relationship. But I think taking that for a minute and just saying like, am I allowing for there to be intention of like being human
Mm-hmm.
and whatever this is for myself and for other people. So
Mm-hmm. And two,
Absolutely.
Kayla, even besides being perfect, we also be going in like, it's my intention to make sure they understand me. Like we
Yeah.
want them to
Hmm.
understand our perspective and our position, and
Yeah.
then agree.
Hmm. Yep.
Don't you know I'm right? Right? Can't you agree that I'm right? Understand that
Yes.
I'm right. My position is right. It's valid and stuff like that. But really, what it is, you got to know for
Hmm.
yourself.
Yep.
So you fight for somebody else, and they may not give that to you.
Yep.
Again, you being your mirror.
Yep.
So were your intentions good? Were well, they might understand it differently. Remember, we got different maps happening here. We done talked about maps before. We have different maps here. And
Yep.
so they may not understand.
Hmm.
And that's one of the biggest struggles with my mom.
Hmm.
She is completely, she misses my intention. So I give you a scenario. When she was sick, one of the occurrences, my mom has a number of health issues. And when she was sick, I was living, I think the last time I was living in Arizona, and I left Arizona to, well, not completely, but I went back home to Mississippi. As you all know, I'm from Mississippi, and that's where my mom lives. And she was in the hospital, and I went there and I stayed there for at least 3 weeks to a month, just to be there. So she knows someone cares for her, is there for her, and stuff like that. Because in my life, I have spent a lot of time alone, hurt, and it has always been my goal to make sure others haven't felt that way.
Hmm.
Whether it's family, friends, some stranger that I met, that somebody has seen, acknowledge them, and don't have to feel alone if they come in contact with me, right? As much as I can control, and making sure she knew somebody was there to care for her. She didn't have to wonder if somebody's gonna be there. I was gonna be committed. So in turn, she's turned this into me. She says I'm controlling. So because I was in the hospital and was like, okay, we need to do what the doctor said. Let me help you. Let me support you. Let me escort you to the bathrooms. I don't want you to fall because you just had a procedure. She finds this is controlling. Um, However, she can never see the perspective that I had is I just wanted my mom to be okay. I wanted her to live. I wanted that because the worst case is like, okay, if my mom was to pass and not because I took the time to take care of her, but she cannot see that, which is really hard, which is really hard. And so if I was to continue to carry that burden that she could not hear my love and care for her, that would be that it really would physically be killing me. And for a long time it did.
Hmm.
For a long time it did.
Yeah.
And so I want you all to really process this question. I know we have a comment also in here. It says, I'm not allowed to make mistakes. Since I was a child, I was taught perfectionism, especially if the mistake is visible to the public. I feel embarrassed, but what Kayla said, I feel the same way. Awesome, Ziggy Bates. Awesome on that clarity. Because remember, the biggest thing we can help and support you all in is having clarity and awareness. Because once you get clarity and awareness, it's going to be difficult and challenging to continue to operate in the same way. And once you have that clarity, then you can realize, maybe I need to go about this in a different way. Maybe what I'm striving for isn't the end goal.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tia, for sharing that. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you for sharing that too, my dear.
Thank you.
Sorry, my questions went missing.
No, you're fine.
What else is coming up for folks? Is anything else coming up for you? Can y'all resonate with what I was talking about, like your intention? How's that coming up for y'all? And why are you pondering that? The next question. is, have I done everything possible to make things right? Now, real where I want you, Kayla. I want you, Kayla, because this question was so challenging, because
Yeah.
immediately the critter brain is bringing up so many things. Because the critter brain is
Yes.
saying, "I gotta protect you. This is this something you ain't ready for yet." But you are very ready. You're very, very capable. If you are here, you are ready for the shift,
Hmm.
right? So therefore, you in the
Absolutely.
space so you can hear these questions, because it is going to allow you to have some additional perspective.
Yeah.
Have I done everything possible to make things right? So, Kayla, let's talk this through, because I know when we had this conversation initially, a whole lot of things came up for us.
Yes, I like immediately rejected this question. I was like, no, I love all of them except this one. I was like, this one needs to see the door. It doesn't need to be a part of this. And I think that's because um I think like it brings me back to the question before this. Like, do I allow myself to make mistakes? So have I done everything possible to make things right? I feel like in some ways kind of contradicts that, because like, no, I've messed up. No, I haven't done it. And I feel like my normal brain, when it comes to forgiveness, that's my thought process is, have I done everything possible to make things right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I rejected this question, because I was like, no, I'm on this journey of allowing myself to make mistakes and to own that.
Mm-hmm.
And now here you're asking me if I've done everything I can to make it right. Uh, no, get away from me. That was kind of my initial reaction to this question, was just like, this is like my typical thought process of like how, but, and so what I brought up to Tia is, at least in my brain, before I have brought myself grace and the ability to slow down, was like people pleasing in
Mm-hmm.
these situations. And I think what I feel like maybe was missing for me in this question is, have I done everything possible to make things right with myself?
Mm-hmm.
Removing out everyone else, because that's what I would do, is I would make sure everything was right and perfect for everybody else, because that was the priority, because that was the most important thing, not Kayla, not her needs, not her ability to be seen, heard, and valued, not that. It was the ability to make sure that everything was right for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I immediately like rejected this question. But I think Tia did a really good job. She like walked me through it the other day, because I was like, no, I was like, I do not like this question. And Tia, if you want to
Right.
add your thoughts on it,
Right.
I just wanted to give kind of like that kind of like initial thought process for me of like where I was like combative with it.
Right. And I think that, and that's the reason why I wanted you to talk about that, because I think that's what so many folks are going to have that response to. Why is the onus on me to make it right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is it on me to always make it right? Because because we for sure going to say, I always have to make it right. Why is it
Mm-hmm.
on me to always fix it? When can they fix something?
Mm-hmm.
Come
Yep.
on, y'all. If y'all can relate to what I'm saying, let me know in the chat. Why is the onus always on me? Huh?
Absolutely.
However, what I want you to hear in this question is, have I done everything possible to make things right according to you? Again,
Mm-hmm.
are your intentions clear? So an example like, have I done everything to make this right? Initially, my struggle was my relationship with my mom. I was doing everything, thinking I was doing everything, and I was just working hard, but my intentions were different. I was just trying to get her to
Mm-hmm.
understand and consider my perspective. So then when I say this, I'm just like, yeah, and she ain't heard nothing I had to say.
Yes.
So then you're really resistant. But then when I sit back, have I really done everything to make this relationship right? Have I done everything? Have I showed up different? Have I released the tension? Am I showing up with anger energy in the space? Have I given myself permission to release this, to forgive this? Then I can show up in any interaction where I'm going to work on future relationship with this individual. All circumstances. Now, this is also a range, as I always say, it's a range of situations.
Right.
However, in one where you are working, this is someone that has to be in life, that's in your life, and you want to work through the issues so you can have a cordial relationship, a respectful relationship, having boundaries. And some of the times the resistance is because we haven't created the boundary. We allow this individual to continue to have access to ourselves. So again, when have I done everything possible to make things right? Have I done everything possible to make things right with myself and how I'm showing up in these relationships? Am I still allowing people to use and exploit me? Am I still operating from the expectation that I shall show up perfect? I shall present well as if things are great, even though they suck. Can you hear me? I'm not often. So a lot of times, that's why we are addressing this as mastering self-forgiveness, because then when we can forgive ourselves, it is more feasible to forgive others, because that grace always is going to stand out. It's just going to be like, that grace. Are you perfect? No human is. And humans have their own story and experiences. Did what they do was wrong? Hell yeah. And yeah, I'm going to say the cuss words today. Hell yeah, what they did was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you forgive them doesn't mean you are giving them permission to do that again.
Yep.
It doesn't even mean that you get to continue to have a relationship. But the biggest part of this is the burdens on your heart and on your physical being and mental being, your emotional being, everything. Remember, this is detrimental to your health. I can tell you from personal experience, I've had so many health issues because I done carried, I done pretended and did these great presentations that things were great. I'm extremely strong. I can figure it out somehow. I can handle it alone. I don't need a whole bunch of support. When the end is, I just wanted people to show love towards me, show that they care for me, and then that I could be free from this bondage of I got it together, I got to figure it out, all of that. Can I just be here? Can I cry tears and no judgment be there because I'm crying tears because some stuff hurts? And even in this, my message to you is the hurt can still be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course, with things with our moms, it still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also hurts me that I see my mom have better relationships with my siblings, the type of relationship I would desire.
Mm-hmm.
It still hurts,
Mm-hmm.
but no longer do I carry all of it that I have to fix it and repair. Both of us have to participate in it, but I also know we are at different phases. So that's why I want y'all to hear me. That's why when we talk about being the bigger person, that's why you got that obligation, because your exposure, your access to different things has allowed you to be a little further on your journey.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you have the tools right now. You are getting more and more tools on your tool belt to help you be able to release these things. And the thing that I know, me and my mom, we've had different exposure. We had different tools. We still have different tools, like with different position. So with the tools she has, she's doing the best that she can. With the tools I have, I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm continuing to strive for some more tools to help me. Okay?
Took the words out of my mouth, Tia. Literally, like, what better way to like invite in grace, to see someone, to see their map, to indicate that it's
Mhm.
valid than saying like you are doing the best that you can with your tools, whether it's a plethora of tools, if it's a small toolbox, it doesn't matter. I see that you are doing what you can with your tools, and I'm doing what I can with mine. And that's all that you can do. You can't
Mhm.
change anything else other than just see things for what they are.
Right.
And again, that's where I feel like the power comes back to you. That's where it allows you to hold grace, is saying, I see that and I see me, and that's that.
Mhm.
Again, like Tia said, does it hurt? Is it shitty?
Right.
Is it messed up? Is it like all these things? Yes, we're not saying it's rainbows and butterflies just by
Right. Right.
saying, I acknowledge that my mom has different tools than I do and that we're coming at this situation with what we have.
Right.
Yeah, it still means that it's
Ooh,
still
and,
shitty.
and y'all just see, I, Kayla, can you say that one more time? Because I want y'all to hear that.
Absolutely.
Because when you slow down and you hear that, like, and process that, like, man, that allows so much weight, even in the present. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it allows so much weight to be lifted off of me that we
Mm-hmm.
got different tools.
We got different
Even
tools.
if you are siblings, grew up in the same house, even if it's your parent and they were teaching you the tools, you still have different exposure, different access, different tools. You have different life paths that you have completely different maps.
Yep. Yep. It doesn't matter how like you are. You could be twins. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. It's gonna be different because we are all different. And literally, like for me, myself, like since we've started this whole forgiveness process, I've literally said this to myself. Like I had a situation with my mom where I was like, "Ooh, we are, some hard feelings are coming up, and I just really want to just like not be in this situation anymore." And I just sat there and I like looked at her back and I just mentally said to myself, she is doing the best that she can with the tools that she has, and so am I.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be you could do this with a picture, visualize it, whatever. Honestly, visualizing it is like so great too.
So,
Like if you just like sit there with yourself and do like a forgiveness meditation, maybe that's something that T and I can do on live sometime soon.
mm-hmm.
Um, of just sitting there with yourself and visualizing that person and just say, you are doing the best that you can with the tools that you have, and so am I.
Yeah.
And so am I.
Yeah.
And I feel like as you work through this, even if you just say it to yourself, yeah, I screwed up at work today. I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I have. What else am I supposed to do? There's not like I'm doing the best that I can. That's all that you can do. That's all that you can say. And I feel like owning that and holding that within yourself again is like that talking about taking the weight off,
Mm-hmm.
talk about releasing, talk about acknowledging, embracing all of these things with just a simple sentence. It's like like the best way to affirm yourself. I am doing the best that I can with the tools that I have, period.
And then
Might
even
be,
breaking down those tools with the mental
yeah,
capacity, with the energy, with the what? Because you know it's every day it looks different.
it does. Yeah. Every day it's different. And I think holding that too, because I've heard people say like, well, could I have done better? Not today. Not today, you couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe
Right.
a week from now, maybe a year from now, but not today. Today, this was your best. And like, that's what that is. And again, like, I feel like being able to step into owning these things and like saying, like, yes, that was me. Yes, that was me. If you didn't like it, that's okay. Doesn't mean that it can't change.
Right.
Doesn't mean it can't be better. Doesn't mean any of these things. And like, again, you have that power to acknowledge that and to do something about
Mm-hmm.
those things. And like, yeah, that that's where the power is for me.
Oh,
So
oh, something else just came to my remembrance
yeah,
about this one. Because also, really, have I done everything to make it right? So, somebody said to me forever ago, when you pointing the finger, it's three of them pointing back at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times, and I know this is a real pattern to acknowledge where we may have been wrong, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
folks have their own maps and their own viewpoints and stuff like that. So, to say, Dag, was any part of what I did negative or impacted them negatively? Was it insulting or anything like that? Did I acknowledge how I may have impacted them? Because a lot of times we are always looking for an apology or acknowledgement on our side, but did we even look at the other person's side? Again, that mirror. Let's be that
Mm-hmm.
reflection to ourselves. We can get some other reflection that's also a part of what we do as coaches. But did we acknowledge the other person's hurt? Inhale, exhale.
That's, we
So,
weren't kidding, guys.
can you say
Yeah.
that you did everything possible to make it right? Did you acknowledge their position, their experience?
Mm-hmm. As well as your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump into our next question
Mm-hmm.
because I know this one's a heavy one too. Our next question is, why am I holding on to this?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I holding on to this?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that this isn't the first question. I love that this is not the first question. And you kind of have to go through this other process
Right.
to get to the place of like, okay, why am I holding on to this?
Right.
If I Can I do anything to change this?
Right.
No. Am I allowing myself to make mistakes? Maybe we had to process that one a little bit.
Right. Right.
But we have the intention to allow ourselves to make mistakes. Yes. Have I done everything possible to make things right? Again, processing that one, walking through those steps with ourselves. So, am I doing what I can to allow others and myself to be seen, heard, and valued, and taking action where I can? So, why am I holding on to this?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm. And we got here, it says, waiting for them to fix it and take accountability.
Hoo, 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 hoo.
And
I've been there.
as I said before, right, a lot of times that is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But the reason why I even threw that response on the last one, and we can see why, because most of us have normalized not taking accountability for our part in things.
Yeah.
Right. So if
And I
we are
also,
holding on to it, then it's likely we could be disappointed. So then that's why it comes back to our intentions. Sorry for cutting you off, Caleb. What was you saying?
no, you're fine. Keep going.
No, go.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think that when I hear a response like that,
Mm-hmm.
we forget how much power that we hold
Right.
in these situations.
Right.
Like how really, and I know I've kind of thrown this out a little bit throughout this conversation today, but like how much power we hold in this situation. Have any of these like questions really been about what the other person can do?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Right.
not a single one.
Mm-mm.
Not a single one has been about what the other person can do. It
Right.
has been all about us
Right.
because at the end of the day, forgiveness is not for them.
It's for you.
It is for you. So why are you waiting for them to forgive? Why are you waiting for them to take accountability?
Right.
And typically, if you've been waiting, it's probably, like Tia said, not going to happen. Are you going to wait for someone else to hit their point on their healing journey with the tools that they have? Again, you can't change their toolbox. You can't can't open it up. You can't rumble it around. Like they have to go through that journey themselves. So if you're going to sit there at a standstill and you wonder why like we hit places of feeling stuck and we feel all these things because we've let the power go to everyone else but ourselves. So take this as an
And we
opportunity
found,
to say,
yeah,
yeah. What were you going to say,
yeah,
Tia?
you said,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kayla, I'm just getting good.
No, you're fine. It just like kind of cut out when you talked. So I was like, what did I miss? But anyways, train of thought is coming. Wheels are turning. Bring that power back to you. That's what I have to say. Stop waiting for them. You don't need to. It doesn't matter. Whatever they do with their life, whatever their decision is. And yes, I know in certain situations, again, there's like so many varying degrees. So if this is someone that you like regularly have to interact with, or someone that you regularly have a relationship with, or where this trust is really important. And I think that that's where it takes like having conversations, and it takes like acknowledging them in their position, because why haven't they come to you? Why haven't they taken responsibility? Why haven't they? And again, saying, okay, well, maybe their toolbox doesn't allow them to. Their toolbox hasn't brought them to a place where they've gone through that process, or they've never had to take responsibility, or any of those things. And again, bringing that power back to you, where you get to make those conscious decisions yourself. You get to hold yourself up high. You get to treat yourself well and say, I don't stand for this.
Right.
This is where my line is, and I'm allowed to have boundaries. Right. I'm allowed to say no to you. Right. You know, and so bring that power back to yourself. That's what I have to say, because you deserve it. Right. You own it. It's you. It's all you. It's all you. So take that power back, release that, take your time with releasing that. There's no rush with having to process through, because again, it takes time. Like I felt so hard for so long about that way with my relationship with my mom. Like I wanted, like Tia said, like so badly for her to understand, for her so badly to see like how hard I've worked, or how I've done this and how I've done that, or how like she's hurt me, or how she's like conditioned me in some way to make me see, you know, whatever. Like I wanted so badly, or because I have, T and I are both like the oldest girls in our family, and so we have younger siblings where we've seen like the relationship be different. And again, I think this comes back to like where their toolbox was, right? Like parenthood is hard. And I acknowledge that too. Parenthood is hard. And and that their tools change, and it's very, you know, it changes. And one thing that I've really found at this point in my life, I don't think I would always find this funny, but now in my journey with forgiveness, I've kind of found it a little bit funny where there's like some sound on TikTok or whatever where it's like, for me, that was like one of the most like traumatic experiences of my life, maybe with my mom, but for her, it was just a Tuesday. Sometimes their toolbox, it doesn't even, because we all have different maps, we all see it differently. So for me, it was like an awful thing, and for her, it was just a Tuesday. And so also realizing that too, with each of us all being so different, that like maybe the person doesn't even know that this is something that they need to take accountability for, because they don't even know the weight that it's held on you.
Right.
And how can they? Because again, you have a different map. You had a giant mountain, and they had a flat dirt road that day, you know? And so I feel like that has helped me too, of like finding peace with things like that, because it's like that is how very like varied our experiences of the exact same thing is.
Right.
You know? And I think again, bringing that power, validating yourself through that, and saying like, yeah, that was really hard for me. And again, depending on your situation, like, is that something that you can have a conversation and like be vulnerable about? Like, hey, that wasn't just a Tuesday for me.
Right.
That was a really like awful thing that I went through. Or maybe it's not, and it's something that you have to like again hold within yourself or find community with. You know, like we're not alone, and there's other people who have gone through the situations that we've been through as well, and who have still been able to find forgiveness as well, through their journey. So again, like surrounding ourselves with people that I feel like have walked the walk already can be really, really helpful in like that healing journey. So sorry, I totally went on a tangent with that one, but
I think it was great. I think it
thank
was
you.
great. And then the other question that came up for me in this part was,
Yeah.
how is it serving you? So
Mhm.
when you say you're waiting for them to fix it and take accountability, how is waiting on that, how is that serving you? Because again, this is it, intentions and stuff are really important. How am I intending on living my life, right? As
Mhm.
a place of love, support, kindness. When you answer those questions, how do I intend on showing up in the world, right?
Mhm.
And so that's the question I had to answer for myself. How is this serving me to just carry this, wait on her acknowledgement, wait on her to accept my position, acknowledge my position and things and stuff like that? And I said it was just holding me back as a crutch on why I could not forgive myself, my judgment. I was also judging myself, like, why can you be the daughter that she really wants and desires and desire to have a relationship with and stuff like that? So with so many things, but once I started showing grace and forgiveness towards myself, then was I able to release it. Hello? Can y'all hear me? It looks like, I don't know if it's Kayla frozen or me frozen. Oh, I think we lost Coach Kayla. Yeah, but it's about, how is it serving me? And when my intentions for my life, how is it serving me? So as I want to be a place of love and support, I had to release it. And once I started loving and caring for myself in the way that I was desiring for her to love me. So also we waiting on somebody else to come in and fill the voids that we have. We waiting on them to come fill the voids that we have. Welcome back, Kayla. Waiting on them to come back and fill the voids, but that may not happen. So if we're waiting on them to come back and fix that, mainly it's because we haven't addressed it in ourselves. When we are regularly loving on, caring for ourselves, anybody else doing so is just a bonus. I don't care who it is. When you loving and caring on yourself, then it's so much easier to release it. Be like, oh, you don't want this love, you don't want this care. Yeah. But it's a journey. So I want you to be patient with yourself. That's why each step is required in the specific order. You can't jump to being fully gracious and stuff like that with others until you start with you. Normalizing your care and your self-love and stuff like that, and really get to that place of valuing and appreciating who you are and what you've overcome and how you've overcome it, and everything, like celebrating where you are each day, celebrating your wins, celebrating how you came over challenges. If usually you'd hold a grudge for 12 months and you held one for 2 days, hey, that's a reason to celebrate. And that's where it's going to come. It's going to get better step by step. Again, remember, we don't want to skip the middle part. Just keep taking it step by step. And that's why we started our conversations on these lives with self-care and self-love, because that is going to be the first step in all the rest of this stuff. Forgiveness and all of it. It's going to come with you loving on you. Somebody said, hold on. When I'm not heard, I can't get over it. There's no closure.
My response to that would be, because I used to sit in that too and just be like kind of stirring, like no one. There's this like song lyric that I love music and stuff that really like sticks with me and makes me feel seen, heard, and valued. And it's like I scream so loud. And like that's how I feel when I hit that place of like I'm screaming so loud and like no one can hear me. And what I have found is like I'm screaming so loud, but I'm not even hearing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I feel like, just plays right into what you're saying, Tia, is like I'm screaming so loud and I'm screaming and I'm screaming and I'm screaming, but I'm like, I'm even ignoring myself.
Mm-hmm. Because one of the things that came up for me is like, have you been really sharing your truth?
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of times we screaming so loud for others to hear us because we're not really getting to share who we really are, our real truth. We're trying to make it more palatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're trying to get what we think they want to hear and how they want us to present it and all of that. Because we don't believe that they're capable of handling our truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or even like ourselves, like for so long, like I really like, you know, I've mentioned I'm perfectionist. I'm very performative, especially like when shit's hit the fan. And like I just like that's the way that I like learned to survive basically through things. And because I was doing that, I wasn't allowing myself to actually like feel through what I was feeling.
Right.
I wasn't allowing myself to actually be like, this is shitty.
Right.
This is messed up.
Right.
You know, and then sometimes I go down these dark rabbit holes, like I allowed this to happen to myself, or I did this to, or like I put myself here, I placed myself in this situation, or like I knew that they were going to do this and I knew this and that. Quiet that part of the mind if you can. I know it's really hard. I've gone through like 2 years now of actively using affirmations to like retrain that part of my brain because she can be really loud sometimes. Right. And hitting a place like of, Kayla, how are you doing? Asking that to myself, because I used to I went through like a really traumatic event in college, and for the longest time I was really triggered by people just asking me how my day was going. Because I was like, oh, you want to know? My internal brain was,
right,
oh, you
right.
want to know? Oh, I got some shit to say.
Right.
I got, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened. You know, like the internal me just wanted to be screaming, like, all these terrible things have happened to me. What is going on? What is wrong with the world? What is all these things? And like, because I didn't actually process that with myself and like see myself going through it, like, you know, you're going through it. But do you actually give yourself the time and grace to be like, it's okay to cry right now? Like, please cry. Please cry. Please go through these emotions. Like, please, like, it's okay. Like, just do it. You're allowed to. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to like lay in bed right now because shit is shitty. You know, because I didn't allow myself to have that space. I was beyond triggered by someone saying, hey, how's your day going? Their intentions aren't bad, but I was ready. I was like all fired up. I was like, because I wasn't allowing myself to feel through, because I was holding all this energy and holding all this weight and not allowing myself to forgive myself for holding all this weight. And I feel like, again, this I'm just walking you through kind of like my brain and how I used to go through things, right, as an example that like you don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to be that person. You don't have to hold it all together. You don't
right.
No one is expecting you to hold it all together.
No, some might be expecting us to hold it together. Now, some might,
right, yeah.
But we got to release them expectations and say we no longer gonna operate based on your expectation, because folks sure do.
And again, and I think this comes back to like when I hear you say that, it comes back to, because I felt that too. Like, well, these people have all these expectations to me. Well, okay, what does their toolbox look like?
Right.
Because I'm betting that their toolbox only allows them to be performative and perfect too.
Right.
And again, that's okay because that's the tools that they've been given. But my tool now is to like be me.
Right.
And show up as me. And like, I recently had this experience with a good friend of mine. Her name's Nikisha. You know Nikisha. And we've known each other online. I had never met her in person, and we were in person for the first time together. And I was like a little nervous. I don't know. It was like first date feels, even though she's a girlfriend of mine, you know? And I was like, ah. And she said, Kayla, stop. Be you so that way I can be me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it means to like give yourself grace, because if you can't do it for yourself, know that by giving yourself grace, you give other people the permission to have grace too. And the reason why people have these expectations and everything is because they've never had someone that said, no, stop.
Right.
Give yourself grace so that way I can give myself
Right.
grace.
Right.
That's what that looks like.
Right.
So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people so that way they can have that expectation. Because if we hold the expectation on ourselves that we have to be performative and we can't forgive and we can't let these things go and all this stuff, then that means that no one else in our life can either.
Right.
Because we're setting that expectation. And again, maybe that's what our toolbox has brought us to. That's what mine did for a long time. But my toolbox has now told me, okay, well, screw up. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. You're allowed to screw up. You're allowed to be messy. You're allowed to like not have it together. And that's totally fine. Because that allows me to be me, because I'm human and I do mess up.
Right.
And that in turn allows other people, like, I hope that empowers Tia to be herself, because that's what I want Tia. I want Tia to give me that love and that grace, just as like I want, you know, and as we all want for all of you guys too. Like we want you guys to show up as your imperfect selves, because that is your truth. Your truth is not perfect.
Right.
Your truth in yourself and
right.
everything, it is not perfect. Thank God.
Right.
Thank God.
Right.
And
the only commitment we want you to make, and that was very important to me, I'll tell you, on my journey. And you find it your motivation in whatever way. So at the beginning, like early on in my life, like I wanted to quit college, all of this stuff, like it was just a lot. And on several times, like, you know, folks have had conversations with me along the way. And recently, my play mom and mentor, she even this past week even was reminding me, she said, Tia, it's so beautiful to see you on your journey and where you've gotten to. She said, but you remember back in college when I called you to my office and reminded you when you didn't want to fight for yourself anymore, that you had a whole lot of little siblings waiting on you to be the example. And so one of my big reasons for my fight was to show difference in my family. I wanted my siblings to see it done differently. I wanted them to see that it was possible to do it a different way. And that has continued to be part of my motivation as well. I said I was willing to be the beacon of change in my family, where we communicate differently. We communicate healthy. We communicate and we are able to say, I love you, I support you. And it doesn't have to be any negative jab as the way of showing love. Like we can just say it. I love you, I support you. How can I be there for you? Did I hurt you? I want to acknowledge how I hurt you. And I want you to know that I apologize for that. I understand your position. I understand your perspective. I hear it. And that has been, because my intention was to be a beacon of hope, love, and support just within my family.
Look at you now.
And right. And then another point, a huge point was for me, was my one of my best friends. She said to me, Tia, I need you to commit. So this is where your motivations and your commitments come in and how they help you along the way. She says, I need you to commit to staying in the fight for your life. Mm-hmm. And I had to commit, because I was so distraught, so hurt. Like, really, is this all my life gonna be? A whole bunch of suck? Like, is this it? That's why we do these lives, so you can have access to our experiences and our expertise in breakthroughs, because you are ready. All you got to do is commit to stay in the freaking fight for your life. And guess what? Naturally, there's going to be impact to those around you. Because like Kayla said, you're going to give other people permission. You are going to be that pattern stopper. when you get in perspective, when people are doing business as usual and you throw in a different perspective because you got you a little bit further on your healing journey, you're going to be at pattern stop and they're going to be like, oh, here's some new perspective. And then if they don't want to shift yet, then they're going to change their proximity to you. But then, because they can't operate in the same old way that allowed that toxic energy around you before, they can't do it because they know you're not going to roll with no stuff like that because you different. So they're going to change in their proximity to you. So I encourage you today to stay in the fight for your life and make that commitment. Today is April 16th. Make that commitment to yourself today. April 16th, 2022, that I'm going to stay in the fight for my life. I want y'all to write it in the comments. I'm going to stay in the fight for my life. Whatever that looks like, whether it's going to coaching, whether it's having deep and meaningful conversations with people around you, telling them how they can support you on your journey, that you desire to heal, you want to do relationships different, whatever it is, you just stay in the fight. Whether it's seeking therapy, all of it. Stay in the fight. Whether it's going to the doctor's office to figure out what's happening in your body. Whether it's incorporating more vegetables into your life. Whatever it is, it's all of the things. Because you are a whole human being. So it's not just one component. It's all the things in your life. I'm telling you, I was mentally sick. I was mentally beaten. I was physically sick, physically beaten. And when I chose to be in the fight for my life, it has been slowly dealing with all the different compartments. And yes, it's hard as hell, but that's where the commitment comes in. Each day I'm going to keep trying, but it does not look like the day before. I'm not comparing it. I'm not even expecting it to look like the day before, the month before, the year before. Today, April 16th, I'm going to do my best I can today with the mental capacity that I have, with the energy that I have, with the physical capabilities that I have. That's what I'm going to do. Give yourself permission to do that.
I feel like hearing you, okay, Tia, you're on fire. Like, where's the fire extinguisher? Just kidding. We want this fire blowing. Keep blowing. Hot damn, girl. I feel like hearing you say, and I don't know what I missed. I just saw someone say, I'm going to stay in the fight for my life. And like, I could cry about that. Celebrate. Yes. Yes. April 16th. April 16th, 2022. You're here.
And just wait till next year. Next year, when at this time when you say, me and Kayla were even talking about this week, like where we were last year and what we was doing, and how we were overwhelmed, stressed in, but we was in the push for our businesses, push for ourselves, to even the work that we have done in this year.
Yes.
So I'm excited for April 16th, 2023, when we reflected on how it went, because we made some commitments to ourselves.
Hell yes. We made some commitments. We are committed. We are here for change. And this makes me want to come back to like all of the questions that we've asked ourselves today. And hopefully now with this mindset, like I'm here to stay in the fight for my life.
Yeah. Like
you can answer these questions maybe even just a little bit different than the first time that we asked them. Can anything be done to change what happened?
Come on.
Can anything be done? No.
No.
Nothing can be done. Do I allow myself to make mistakes? Damn right I do.
Right.
Damn right I do.
Because who is it serving? Who is it serving if I don't allow myself to make mistakes? And how am I going to learn? And how's anybody else going to learn if I got to be perfect and I still ain't perfect when I'm trying to be perfect? Right.
Mm-hmm. Period.
Period.
Our next question, have I done everything possible to make things right? Have I set that intention?
Right.
What intention am I holding with myself right now, right here? How have I taken the time to say, these are the tools in your toolbox, you're doing the best that you can, and these are the tools in mine, and I'm doing the best that I can?
Right.
How have I given myself and others grace today.
Right.
Why am I holding on to this?
Right.
Hopefully, I'm starting to take it off. Maybe it's not all the way off.
Right.
Again, I'm not perfect. I'm showing up the best that I can. I'm taking my steps. I am fighting for my life here. Taking maybe just a little bit off, maybe the whole damn thing off, wherever you are. Why am I holding on to this? Maybe your answer is I'm trying not to. We love that. And then the last one, Tia, did you go over the last question already? I don't know if I missed it. Okay. Then we've arrived at
This
our
one
last
quick because
question.
we done wrapped it up now.
We done wrapped it all up.
So how can I use this as an opportunity to grow? ABC 1, 2, 3.
Boom. We already laid it all out for you guys. You already know.
How can I use this as an opportunity to grow?
You already are. You already are.
Because after you done went to questions 1 through 4, 5, you already see it.
5's a piece of cake. 5's like, oh yeah, I've been watering this plant for a while.
Right. I can see it. All of this
allows
me to grow. I got different.
Thank you, self.
Yeah.
Thank you, self. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, self, for making this an opportunity to grow.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for taking the steps. Thank you for going through the muck. Thank you.
Yes.
Gratitude. I feel like that's what I feel from this question. It's just like so much gratitude. Like this like isn't how can I use it? Like I am using it.
Right.
It is an opportunity. Like this moment is an opportunity for me to grow. Like hell yeah. Look at my toolbox, just got freaking way bigger. Hell yes.
Come on.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Damn right.
Come on.
Ooh.
Now after that, we want to see if y'all got some questions.
Yeah.
Questions do you have that we haven't addressed?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to put them in the comments and let us know if you still have some additional questions you would like us to address. We definitely welcome them.
We definitely do. Or I even love people throwing up like their objections that they have to these questions.
Right.
Because like that's like the real like dialogue that we have in our head.
Right.
So if you're having that thing that's like actually no, the brakes are on for this one. Share it with us. We want to hear it.
Right. So we can talk about it because that's where it is. This is a healing conversation.
Absolutely. And I really don't think that any objection is silly.
Right.
Because it's our brains. They love to mess with us. Right. They love to tell us things that aren't true and all those things. So like I feel like the best thing to do sometimes is like bring those things forward and really look at them. Mm-hmm. Be like, what did I say to myself again? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What did I say? Mm-hmm. Put it under a microscope, and look at it. We love to hear it.
All right. Well, we ain't got any questions or comments or objections or anything. So again, first, I want to celebrate you all for being here. Celebrate you for being in the fight for your life, being intentional on your healing journey, here to support us, all of the above. I want to celebrate you. So excellent job. I also want to acknowledge Kayla. Thank you for continuing to be vulnerable. I know it's challenging, to publicly share our stories and experiences and these vulnerable things. So I want to appreciate you for being willing to do that. And I hope y'all put some hearts in the chat for her and her willingness to be vulnerable.
You guys better be doing the same thing for Tia, because hot damn girl, like I accept that love, but I also want to like mirror that right back to you. Like, thank you for showing up and being the amazing and powerful person that you are, because again, just like I was saying earlier, like you being you allows me to be me and like allows us both to walk into spaces like this and help others to do the same. And we hope that you guys are also being you and showing up as your best self, as best as you can in these moments, because life is freaking hard. Life is hard,
but
it ain't easy. You are so capable. You have the capacity to be filled with love. You have the capacity for gratitude. You have the capacity for greatness. And like, don't forget that every single step that you take is you being great. It's not at the finish line because, again, we all know this is a journey. There is no finish line. So every step that you take, that is you and your greatness. And I hope that you own that and you walk with that.
Right.
So we want to remind you guys that Tia and I both offer complimentary sessions.
Right.
Did I just say complimentary, Tia?
Say that again. You said
complimentary?
We did.
No way. Complimentary. Damn. Hell yeah.
So that
You
means,
resonated.
real
So,
quick,
yeah.
that means book your session.
Yes, it does.
There's no
Book
excuse.
your session.
There
No
is no excuse because finances is not an excuse. It's complimentary. So if you're not booking your session, why are you hiding from your breakthrough? Why are you hiding from your clarity? Come on.
Again, we know you're showing up with the best tools that you got, but we're here to provide you with a couple extra ones, complimentary, because we love you and we want you to have those breakthroughs.
Right.
And so go to our bios, go to our website, mindsoflunarradiance.com, tiasphoenixnestcoach.com, book those sessions. If maybe you don't feel like this is a step for you, but you know someone else who would really benefit, please share with them, share this live, share our Instagram pages, our Facebook. I know Tia just came out with a new Facebook page called Girl, You're a Phoenix. Is that right?
That's what it's called. Girl, You're a Phoenix.
So go check that out. She is posting some fire stuff in there multiple times a week. I know she goes live on Sundays. So go check that out. You're not going to want to miss it. We have lots of stuff that we're offering you guys, again, because we just want to be able to share our knowledge. We want to get to know you. We want to help you. So please help us, help others too, and share the word. Guess what? Next month on the third Saturday at noon, Tia and I are going to be going live again. It's going to be May 21st at 12 p.m. We are getting so close to our 1 year mark. And we just want to let you guys know that Tia and I, we're planning stuff.
We're planning it. It's going to be epic.
It's going to be epic. So you better keep showing up because we got some stuff stirring. We stirring here.
Oh, and real quick before we let everybody go, what topics, if y'all want us to cover, what topic do y'all want us to cover? Do you want us to continue in forgiveness? What new topics any new topics do you want us to cover that you're interested in hearing more about? Feel free, throw that in the comments. And other than that, we will see y'all May 21st.
Hell yeah. 12 p.m. Don't miss it. Be there.
Share with your friends.
Share with your friends. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tia.
No problem. I don't see any in the comments, so
I don't either. We
shall decide the next topic. I want you all to make sure you participate and let us know what you want to talk about. What else is coming up? Is it something else about forgiveness? Or is it other topics that are coming up as themes in your life and you want your coaches? They said for forgiveness and letting go.
I guess we're going to be continuing this train, Tia.
Forgiveness part 4.
All aboard.
All right. Until next time.
Thanks, Tia. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.